Okay, so we are going to start with the introduction to data science. Okay, so some of these slides are based on the book, on books and on slides already existing and presentations already existing from other universities, as you can see there. Okay, and because so many things has been already said. Okay, you can see it now better. Just say me if not, just let me know. But you can see it, yeah? Everything okay? Okay, so as I am saying, we are going to go for the introduction, and this, is just to see, the main things that we have been discussing already, we have been talking about this today. So, many people, since we were saying the cognitive era, we were just talking about big data, and the thing is that in the 2000, everyone started talking about, with the IoT, we start having a lot of data coming from sensors, data coming from internet, and then we started talking about big data, and then people just realized that in all those data there was a lot of knowledge that was hidden, and they wanted just to extract the knowledge hidden on it, the value that is hidden in this big data. So from there on, started just the people just developing projects, developing, science around it, and projects in companies started to be developed. So at some point in time, someone started talking also about data science. And now we need to know what is data science. So we want to just say, okay, which is the definition of big data, what is the definition of data science, which is the difference, and why we are having these two topics, okay? Also, we have been talking, for example, about business intelligence, or we have been talking about data mining, or we have been talking about predictive modeling. So, we could put not only these two terms, but we could put too many that are there on the plethora of terms that in the latest 20 years, let's say, we have been talking. So, as I was saying, they are, can we say that they are the same? But the thing is, I cannot say they are the same. They have appeared certainly very close in time, and they are referring to similar things, but the emphasis is different, okay? Because in fact, we can do data science, and most of the data science project that has been developed in companies has not been with huge volumes of data, or what we will see that is big data. And in fact, you can just store big data and not necessarily you have to extract value out of it. So then you can have big data and not develop projects of data science, and on the other hand, you can do data science and not having big data. Okay, so they are kind of related, because when you have big data, you would like to extract the knowledge of it, and this is the trend today. So, but in fact, they are not the same. The same happens with business intelligence. It's a part that tries to extract information, but the techniques that we use in business intelligence are not the same that we will use in data science. The scope is different, so on and so forth. And this is what also, as data scientists, we need to know how to differentiate among all the topics that, people that just are also, because we have seen it's a very mature field. Not so many people are talking about this these days. So it's something that we have to take into account, okay? So in a sense, they are kind of together, but not completely together, okay? So why is everyone so excited, let's say, know about data science? Why all this excitement about data science? Why everyone, is talking about data science, big data, and just why we want to be data scientists? Because we see that this is a trend these days, no? When we have seen that data analysis has been there for a while, because it was, if we go and analyze the data, look, when we have the design of experiments, it was early 1935 when Fisher started just talking about the design of experiments, or Deming was talking about quality control, or Peter Loon in 1958. Okay, so in fact, until we started, it's not today. We have to go to the late 20th century to start just the revival of all machine learning, of business intelligence, and all these things. And just when we just come with Google and we come with the web, and then we have just thinking what to do with all the data. But we have seen that we have been analyzing data, since data is there. So it's not something so new. But what has changed, or what is new today that was not so much trendy, all this time ago, no? So, the thing is that we can do, thanks to the amount of data that we have today, because the thing is that today we have the data, and we have the capability, the power to analyze those. because at some point we have the data, but we did not have, storage was very expensive, and it was not so easy to extract the information because the computational power that was required, because 30 years ago, it was not so easy to extract by the techniques that we have today, because the techniques have not changed so much, okay? But it has changed the computer, capabilities. And we have, of course, much more performance, we have much more capabilities of storage, so today we can do things that we could not do 30 or 20 years ago. So now we have information regarding sensors, we have information regarding the weather, we have the data regarding, sentinel analysis regarding all the satellites that we are just running in all the atmosphere, and then we can just integrate all this information, and then we can, for example, have flu trends. This is the example of flu trends, but we could go and try to analyze COVID trends. And this is something that, as you know, people are working. Today, people are very worried about COVID. And what happens? That we have huge amounts of data that will be very exciting just to analyze, to extract patterns, so we can just beat this virus, okay? So this is something that, for example, the outbreaks of the flu were detected 2 weeks ahead that the CDC. This is the organism that declares a pandemic or something. So the CDC, 2 weeks before they were saying that the flu was coming, Google was just saying that the flu was coming. Okay, so this is something very interesting. So we have new models to see which are the cities that are more risk for spread of the Ebola. And of course, what still we don't have is just the model for COVID. But for sure, I tell you that, and we will see examples in which we have been working, because there is a lot of data that are that are for free, and this is one exercise that we could do, just analyzes this data that we have of COVID, and just see, which is the profile of the people that are having more or less the infection, in which areas are having much more, the spread is going better or worse, so on and so forth. So why we have the excitement? Because we can do applications, we can take actions in places and in domains that we were not thinking about just some years ago. So this is the things that we can have. Okay, so if we go for other data science application, of course we can go for recommendation, for example, and we can go for Netflix. Everyone knows that we have our profiles, and Netflix is sending the recommendations based upon what we see, in where we are, the time where we see the films, so on and so forth. We can also go for fraud detection. We can go also just analyzing wireless sensor data for smart homes. We can go also for real-time monitoring. We can go for automotive, just analyzing the roads. We can analyze sensors of cars just to analyze possible problems in roads, so on and so forth. Then we can go for text data. As I was saying, a lot of data is unstructured. And then we can go and analyze social media, but we can go and analyze also whatever is being said in Twitter. We can go and analyze whatever is being written in medical records, so on and so forth. Okay? And this we can have more and more. Of course, we have all the genotype. Of course, we have, all the kind of data that you have in your mind. You can just start thinking how we can do and see with this. Okay? So the thing is, but where does all this data come from? They come from any device that we have, all in the surrounding. And then, of course, all the satellites, and of course, all that we have there. So which are these big data sources? So we have, every click, every ad impression, every bill event, every fast or forward, every server request, every transaction, every network message, you can go, because what we see, in fact, what we are seeing online is only the peak of the iceberg, as you can see there, because there is so much many things and processes happening all around us that are storing data that could be analyzed, that in fact this is a huge iceberg. Okay, of course we have the Internet of Things. Everything is now, connected. Everything has sensors. We have our smartwatches. We have our, everyone has devices just to measure whatever our steps. We have, in offices now, in smart offices, you have the chairs in which you sit. You have the tables with sensors just to know how much time people are there, or when they are free or not. So we have so many things that we can think about that could be analyzed. Then we have, of course, all the health, and all the data that you are producing in hospitals, that you are producing in UCIs, that you are producing everywhere, okay? And then, of course, you have all the social networking. This is what we see, that it looks like analyzing Twitter or analyzing Facebook or analyzing whatever. But the thing is that as you, and here I have not put, for example, as I am saying, Earth observation, all the information regarding satellite. I have not put all the aerospatial. Imagine all the data of all these planes that are, well, when we did not have COVID, imagine how was the aerospace just with planes as planes going and coming from every place, just sending signals of the routes all the time, and that could be also analyzed just to prevent delays, so on and so forth. Okay, so well, that's why I like this, that was taken from this slides that I told you. This is a very nice picture in which you can see, because it has been said, no, that data is the new oil. Okay, so well, this is something that was said 10 years ago, but this is true, that in a sense, something that is bringing the economy forward right now is just the analysis of the data, just in order to extract patterns and just to see how we can go forward. Okay, so here we can see, well, data, how it is flowing from every place, and of course we have this data that is the new oil that has to be, well, of course, I'm coming from a city in which I was not born in Madrid, and in the city I was born, there is a company of oil, Repsol. And well, this reminds me like Repsol, what Repsol does with the oil in order to extract all the products. In a sense, with the data miners, what we have to do, the data scientists, is just taking all this data and take out of all this data, all these products, intelligent products that we want to have for the new generation of systems that are these cognitive systems, these intelligent systems. Okay, and this is what we are going to see, how to transform. And just imagine how difficult it is to find the oil and to just refine all this oil in order to get, everything that is being obtained out of this oil. Now let's think on the data that is our oil, and let's see which is all this process until, the gasoline is going into your car. So the same is until, well, whatever alert is intelligent recommendation is coming to you, or until a doctor is having some alert of some patient that is having something that is out of control. That is all this kind of alerts that we could generate if we are able to distill, to analyze, and to extract the value of all this data that we are recording these days. Okay, so what can we do with the data? So of course, what we want, that's why I was saying that data processes is about the whole process from data extraction till deployment. So we cannot say, I want to extract a neural network, I want to extract a decision tree. What I want is that I want to see whether I can predict risk factors for cancer. I want to see if I can have, for example, traffic prediction. Okay, I want to see if we want to analyze, and for example, for traffic prediction, we can have information, an earthquake warning, we could have crowdsourcing, so we have all the data of people connecting, phoning, so and so. Then we have the physical modeling, then we have all the sensing, of course, then we have the data assimilation, and then we will produce then all these applications in which we can analyze where is an earthquake. The same we can think, for example, in health, how we can have the information of the devices, we can have the information of the clinical records, we can have the sensing of some sensors that you can have in the heart, or you can have to measure the glucose or whatever. And then this plus the data assimilation, we could produce smart applications that could help the people with cardiac events just to prevent a heart attack or whatever. Okay, so the same is what we are thinking. And data science is all about all this, from data to action, remember, not to pattern but to action. This is what we have to remember. So what is data science? Here I was putting just books that you have access, because you have access to already by UPM, you can enter, and in the library you can access to already, and as students you can just access to all these books. Okay, so just let me know if you have any problem, but you should be able to enter and find the already books. Okay, so just a definition. So well, this definition said data science is the science which uses computer science, statistics, machine learning, visualization, human-computer interaction. So you see that it's not only machine learning, that is not only statistics, that is not only computer science, that is not only visualization. So that's why you have topics in the master that has to do with visualization, with machine learning, with statistics, okay, with data storage, because it's all about this. And in this one, what we do is that we don't go in each of those, but just trying to integrate everything on how we can collect, clean, integrate, analyze, visualize, interact with data to create data products. I love this definition, and that's why I was putting it, because what we want is to create data products. I don't want to create a beautiful decision trees that then it will go to, I don't know, to a notebook, a beautiful notebook that no one will be able to deploy and that we will not be able to take into action. So remember, what we want is just to use all this knowledge that we are going to have from all these disciplines that we have there, either statistics, machine learning, visualization, whatever and so ever, but we want to be able to, remember, to transform data into data products that are the ones that will take action. So we want to deploy them. Of course, this is what it is, our ultimate goal in this course, and this is something we have to take into account. So the goal of data science is to turn data into data products. So what we want is not a notebook. Remember, of course, at some point in the process, we will be producing notebooks. But the thing is, that is not the main goal of data science, but we need to put them into action, into a product that is actionable. So, well, you can have from where we can have just certain data in which we can go and analyze data, but a data scientist should have an accounting kernel and just should start just working with data, because this, of course, is something we need to know, okay? So just a visual definition, or the visual definition that everyone, well, someone is putting much more cycles on this one, but at least if we want to know where you see data science in the intersection there, so we have to have, of course, just the hacking skills. We need to have math, statistic knowledge, and then we have, of course, to know about, the domain in which we are working. So if I am working on health, then I need to have experience on health, because I need to know the problem I want to solve. And in order to transform data into a data product, it has to be, this is like with requirements in software, that if I want to do a product for someone, I need to know the requirements. And I need to do the software that these people want. It's not just what I want, but what the client, the customer wants. So here, once again, I need to know the domain, the specificities of the domain, the semantics of the domain, in order to be able to produce that product, so patterns that will be able to be transformed into products that are actionable in that domain, okay? So data science is multidisciplinary. That's why we can have in this course people that come from computer science, people that come from math, people that come from economy. Many places. Someone can be from networking, so not necessarily computer scientists. And then, of course, it will be people that will be working more on some discipline more than another. But if we want to be the data scientist that should be this, let's say, the project manager of all these projects, then we should have just knowledge about at least all of this. We are not going to be proficient in all of those, because we will be just managing a team in which we will have experts in all of this. But of course, we have to have the knowledge, able to see how difficult it is, if the requirements are being solved, everything, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is just keep in mind all this multidisciplinarity status of data science, because of course data science is there at the intersection of all these fields, okay? And all of those are important in order to develop a data science project, just proficiency. So we have data engineering, we have scientific method, mathematics, statistics, advanced computing, domain expertise, don't remember, hacker mindset, of course, visualization, communication. So all this is something that we have to do. So, I was telling you that we have been talking about many terms, let's say, in the latest 10 years or even 20 years, because, we have been talking about business intelligence, query and reporting, or lab data mining, machine learning, statistics. So at least just to have, a little bit of difference between business intelligence and data science. So data science is just like let's say in a broader scope, because I mean business intelligence is about querying the past. In business intelligence we made reporting of knowing, for example, just comparing the product sold last semester in comparison to the previous 2 ones, something like. And now when we do data science is because we want to query the past, the present, and the future. We want to have models that can really know, I mean, that could be able to predict if everything continues as it is in the data that we have used for training, what will happen in the near future. Okay. So if we want to contrast machine learning and data science, I would say machine learning, like statistics, like math, is one of the disciplines that we will use to do data science. I mean, because machine learning is just it's just all the discipline that develops new models. So we use machine learning to develop a particular model. Then we prove this model, and then, with this model we can, the very end is not to have a product, because it's just to produce. When we are applying decision trees, or we are applying deep learning, or we are applying any other technique of machine learning, we are just thinking on obtaining the pattern, obtaining the model. Okay? When we are thinking in data science is how we integrate this model that we have obtained, we compare it with other models that has been obtained, maybe also by machine learning, and then we see which of all the models really map the requirements that we settle in the goals of the project, and then this one will be deployed, because we want to develop and use tools, just based on this model that we have done, because we want to take action, remember, okay? So that's why data science is one of the things they will use is machine learning, of course, okay? So then we have to go for big data. And there is also, for big data, there is no a single standard definition. Once again, I have put one that I like. Big data is those data in scale, diversity, complexity, require new architecture, techniques, algorithms, and analytics to manage and extract value and hidden knowledge from it. What I like from this definition is exactly this last part in which say value, because of course we are saying that data has to have scale, diversity, complexity, okay? So it's not just only that we have huge volume of data, but the real thing why we are talking about big data today is because we want to extract value. And this is the important part, because we could have the big data, and we could have all this data coming from sensors. And if we were not going to analyze to extract value, what for we want to store all this data? Okay, so the thing that has made really big data such a trendy topic is because hidden in those big data, potentially we have knowledge, we have value, and we want to extract it. And that's why data science is all the disciplines that we will be using in order to extract the value that is hidden there. Of course, data science is much more regarding how to extract, while big data is much more regarding the data itself, okay? So, if we go, we have been talking about the B's of big data, and then the first one is the volume, of course. So we are talking of big data because we have huge volumes of data. So when we are talking about a project of big data, that's why we were telling that sometimes we have data science projects that they are not big data projects, because we are extracting knowledge from data that are not, for example, they have not huge volume, okay? The other thing that we have, and the other B that we say when we talk about big data, is the variety, because we have different formats, we have streaming data, we have text, we have numerical, we have, we are not thinking on structured information. Remember in this poll that we were having, that more than 50% of the data were not structured but non-structured, okay? So when we are talking about big data, it's not only because of the volume, but also because the variety, okay? And then we are talking about big data, this is the third B, because of the velocity. So because they are being generated at a high speed. We have data coming, imagine the volume of data that is being generated, every second in a UCI of a hospital. Imagine sensors that are being sent by cars, the planes that I was telling you, data that are being sent by the satellite. They are being generated at such a speed, because we can think that Twitter is generating a lot of tweets, but there are other processes that are generating even at a higher speed the data. Okay, so this is another feature that the big data should have. Okay, so we have all this data. So when we started talking about big data, the 3 B's that everyone was talking about was volume, velocity, and variety. The real thing is that then the 3 B's went into 4, and from 4 they went into 5, and now I don't know if we are in 7 or in 8, but the most important part that I would like to know is that there is one B that is the one that we have to think about. And we are talking about big data today because we want to extract the value that is hidden in those big data. Okay? So of course we have to trust in the data, so we have to think on veracity and all the B's, I mean, of course, volume, variety, and velocity. But the thing is that we want to extract the value, and that's why we are talking today about this. Here, I was just putting you, well, a little bit the trends on data because we were talking about operational versus decisional data that one day we will be talking. And you see that, well, we started in the 70s when we started with operational databases in which, well, our main point at that point of the digitalization area in which we were starting, what we wanted, in fact, was just to store the data. We wanted just to digitalize processes, and in order to digitalize processes, we needed just to store all our data into databases. Then we have in 1970, we have the relational database. We started with SQL and all these databases. And then it was early 80s when we started talking about data warehousing and data mining. It was when we started realizing that for 10 years we had been storing data in our operational databases, and we needed, on the one hand, techniques to extract knowledge from data, and on the other, another way to keep the information, to store the information that maybe was not relational model, because what we wanted is to read data and to analyze the data. So that's why we started talking about data warehousing and data mining. And then it happens that at the same time the web started, it was just all the things of Internet of Things, and it was 2000, I mean the starting of the 21st century, when we started talking about stream computing and we came to big data. Okay, so this is how we went. So we went from online transaction processing to online analytical processing, and then to real-time analytical processing. But who's generating the data? As I am saying, we are generating data in every place. We have seen just, processes that are generating data. So almost every single process, every single person, at every single movement, we are generating data. Okay. So the model has changed, because the old model, it was in which few companies were generating data and others were consuming the data. But this moment had changed. This was the moment in which we were simply consumers of data from the news, from the TV, from whatever. But now everyone is generating data, everyone is consuming data. Okay. So the value of big data is on the analytics. Okay. And this is what we want, just to extract. What happens is that, and why there is so few people just that are expert in big data, because we don't have, on the one hand, we need new architecture, algorithms, and techniques, but the real truth is that the technology is there, just able, and we have the other things, and what we really are lacking, we are lacking people with technical skills. This is really the main thing that we are lacking today. And what we are lacking is that companies are just trying to find these data analytics, these data scientists, and they are not finding them because there are not enough people just having the knowledge. So here you have something like, okay, wait, someone wants to do something. Okay, so okay, so as I was telling you, so we have technical. No, someone is just, someone is asking for the control. Is that I have this on my screen, but I should have the control. Okay, so don't remove the control from me, because otherwise I will not be able to continue sharing. Okay, so well, okay, no problem. So, but you can see the screen. Everyone is okay? Yes. Okay. Sorry, is that I suddenly I have this on my screen, and I was just okay. So well, as I am saying, you are just like these precious people that will be having these skills. I mean, luckily, if you go through all the topics of this master, and something important is that the companies always tells. I mean, we are in these forums, in these blogs, in which people are just looking for the people with the proper skills, and they are telling me always is that, look, Ernestina, we are looking for a white unicorn, and then we put the offers in the web, and we are just saying we want this person that has to have, I mean, the skills of data scientist, that is not only computer science, that is not only statistics, not only machine learning. We are putting all this, and after 1 year in the company, what we realize is that we have not white unicorns, but what we have is black monkeys. Okay, and this is what we don't want. What we want is really to train just that you train it at university, the white unicorn. And the white unicorn has to be someone multidisciplinary. It's not just a programmer. It's not just, of course, they have to program. Of course, they have to know Python or R or whatever the language or tools that we will be using. But we need these people that has other skills. Okay, so this keep in mind that we don't want to be black monkeys. We want to be, I want you to be the white unicorn that the companies are looking, because these are the ones that these skills that people are not having. Okay, okay. So, well, which is the technology? Technology, we have such a big, landscape of tools at all the levels. And of course, in different topics, as I was saying, you will be just having more or less on one or another technology. And well, because this is part of the course. But, as I am saying, in this course, what we will be covering is just the whole data processes that data goes through from the goals till the deployment. So well, here I was putting just some interesting data once again from this book from Bernard Marr. I don't know, it has just some of these books that are best-selling, and it's interesting just sometimes to follow them on LinkedIn or in Twitter or something, just to see what they are saying, just to keep on track of their things. And well, here I have just for you to know, because we are going to talk, if we talk about the architecture of processes, then we have to think, and these people, we have to think that we have the data source layer, the data storage layer, the data processing analytics layer, and then the output layer. So we have to think that even that everyone just is thinking on the part in which we do the analytics, we have much more level, and that we have to think on all the parts of the process. Okay, then he's talking about the skills that are, like a data scientist, these white unicorns should have. And of course, it is, of course, analytic skills, ability to determine which data has to be collected, how to analyze it, to spot patterns and links. Then, of course, creativity, the ability to come up with new methods. Of course, it has to be the person that we know so much about technical skills. We know so much about all the methods, all the libraries, all the, machine learning methods, statistics, so on and so forth. But for a certain problem, we have to know just the proper one for the data that we have and for the problem that we have. So it's not that we are the good programmer, but also we know under which circumstances certain methods should be applied to obtain certain patterns. Okay, and this is something we also need to know. Of course, mathematics and statistics, we have, if we are going to apply, machine learning methods in which we are going to have an statistics, we need to be very good ones with mathematics and statistics. This does not mean that we have to be mathematicians, but of course, the basics of algebra, the basics of all the procedures and methods that we are using, of course, we have to have. Computer science, once again, maybe we are not computer scientists, that maybe most of you are, but in any case, we have to be able to program, we have to understand architecture, Python, P, Hadoop, R, come up with algorithms, everything has to be understood. And of course, as I was telling you, business skills. This is something that we have put in the latest meetings that I was telling you that we are analyzing. This is something the companies are claiming that this is something that is missed in the people, that they want technical people, but they need to have these business skills, because otherwise they are very good programmers, they know very good the technology, and then they don't know how to solve the specific problem someone has. And these things on an architect, think on a civil engineer, or think in any other engineer, they have business skills, and they know when someone you have to go to build a car, a new car, or to build a new house, a new palace, a new road, a new a plane, aircraft, whatever. I mean, these people that are engineers but has the business skills to know at certain point in the market what is being required, what is being needed, and this is something they have. So we as data scientists have to have these business skills also. We need to understand, I mean, the person that has the problem, the company that has the problem, and need to understand and translate their problems in the things that we as engineers, as data science engineers, know to do. So don't forget about this part, and don't think that we are just a rare pair. No, we are just something that is like any other engineer, and knows every other engineer knows how to translate the problem someone has into their things. And of course, we need to have communication skills. We need to be able to present the data. We have to, if we are going not to do the deployment, but we are going to give the results to IT department in order for them to deploy, then we need to ensure that they understand our model. We have to tell them how to maintain, how to keep, how to be in contact, IT to data science, in order to keep and maintain those processes, so on and so forth. Okay? So, well, now just I am finishing. And, well, here I was just putting, I mean, KD Nuggets is a place that I really advise you to subscribe. You are not getting, I mean, mails every now and then. You can say if you want just only monthly reports, but you have very nice, I mean, in the site you have very nice reports, very nice access to all resources, and then they are very interesting service from time to time. Okay, we will be reading a lot of links that I will be sending you from KD Nuggets. But in any case, this I was putting you here because when we did this cloud that I was putting you, everyone was talking about deep learning because this is the trend today. But I have to tell you, this is something they asked in 2011. And then they asked again, and I mean, I want you to see which are the methods that are in the top 10. And this is decision trees, this is regression, this is clustering and statistics. And look where we go for neural networks or for... So what I want you to see is that a data scientist, or in most of the problems, can be solved, okay, with the most popular techniques. And we don't really go, I mean, for specific problems we will be needing, of course, other techniques, but the main problem will not be on the technique, but will be on the whole process. And just see that the things that are being used, I mean, are just the ones. This is just being all the time asked, and go and see what they have asked in the latest one. And it's, again, it is regression, it is clustering, it is decision trees. Okay, so it's just simply because, I mean, this is what people are using in most of the problem, in most. So of course that we are going, and we need to be expert in all the techniques, and of course in the ones that are trendy, but just see that we have to master the process of data science, and not just to keep focus on a certain technique. Okay, if you go and compare 2011 with 2016, it's exactly, I mean, we have more or less the same. So the things keep going. Okay, so it's not that we suddenly, it's just the trend that we go and we go for another thing. No, the things are just staying. And of course, we have certain things that are going better or worse. But the main problem is not the technique. Remember, it's just the whole process, and we have to keep aware and to be aware of all the phases. So, well, here I was putting certain quotes. I think that is also nice from this book. So, well, that's just for you to see. For example, Gary King from Harvard University was saying that big data is not about the data. And this is because big data is about the value, about the knowledge that is hidden in the data. So this is something we have to be able to, if I tell you this sentence and explain me what do you mean about this, or what Gary King do you think that thinks about this is something as data scientists that should we also be able to say. Or information is the oil of the 21st century, and analytics is the combustion engine, that says Gartner research, for example. Or big data is at the foundation of all the mega trends that are happening today, from social to mobile to cloud to gaming. Okay, so we need, because we are data scientists, and we have all this multidisciplinary approach, this open mind, this creativity. Don't forget, so it's not that we are only technical, that we are only computer scientists, very good, proficient in R or Python, but we need to be something else. Okay. Okay, so well, what we will be analyzing, and I'm not going to go part by part, is that we will go through the whole process of data science, and we will just come again to this and just see which is the data science project that we will be analyzing. Don't worry, I promise today we are already here for almost 2 hours, despite all the problems, technical problems that I have had. But in any case, so we will go little by little along this course, along all these questions here, and this is that something that you as a data scientist will be able just to produce. Okay, so data that we are going to use, just think that it's not only structured data, despite that in most of the time for our assignment and so on will be structured, but think that in the real world we have much more data that is not relational data. Okay, and then what we want to do with this data is, of course, extract the knowledge out of it. Okay, so that's why, I mean, finally, after all this that we have analyzed, remember that's why they are saying that it is the sexiest job of the 21st century. Okay, and it's just simply because, I mean, they are not reporters, we are not reporters, we want just to be able to transform. They are sometimes called the transformers in the company because they can transform problems into data products, into solutions, remember. Okay, so, well, this is what we will be, and we will be, I mean, in which domains you will be able to work. So in any one, because I mean in the one that you would like, because in any domain we will have data, and we will be able to apply this data science to improve the processes, to improve the work that is being done. So the skills that you have to learn, that it will be in this course and will be in all the courses that you are going to have. So it's not only just machine learning, but as you see, database, data mining, solid programming, applied statistics. And remember that in order to be the white unicorn, you should have at least, I mean, if not master, but at least having most of this. Okay? So, well, here we are going just to concentrate on the data mining project cycle, on data analysis tasks and techniques. We will just about the languages we will talk right now in a second, but it will be good that we will have Python and R, and if possible we will just analyze one tool, that is the SPS developer, and if possible 9. Okay, because we have just to see that we are not worried about the tool or the language. So if we know how to do everything, we will not be worried about the language or the tool. But in any case, we have just to know a little bit of every, so when we are faced to a project in any of those, you are able to start working with no problem.